In the bathroom mirror, Claire noticed her dress had loosened at the waist. 3 weeks of skipped lunches, she thought, smoothing the fabric, and went back out to the banquet hall, smiling. The banner stopped her first. White letters on red. Farewell, Claire. Not the soft pink balloons she'd pictured, not a cake shaped like a booty. Just that word hung crooked above a table where, instead of presents, someone had laid out a manila folder, open to show 2 signatures already inked. Hers was missing. Beside the folder sat her suitcase, the green one from the hall closet, zipped tight, handle up, like it had been standing there for hours. Mark? She turned. Her husband stood near the gift table in his good blazer, the one he wore for things that mattered to him. His mother, Linda, sat with her hands folded in her lap, too neatly, the way people fold their hands when they've rehearsed not reaching for someone. Your job is done, Mark said. Not cruel. Almost kind, the way you tell an employee their contract ended. You can leave now. The room didn't gasp. That was the strange part. The caterer kept arranging cupcakes near the unlit candles. A cousin checked his phone. It was as if everyone had known the shape of this evening except her, as if she were the only guest who hadn't read the invitation correctly. Claire looked at the folder, at the suitcase, at her husband's face, composed like a man closing a deal he'd practiced in the mirror. She smiled. It surprised her, that smile. It wasn't brave. It wasn't performance. It was recognition, the particular relief of finally seeing clearly something you'd suspected for a long time. Then let's start the real farewell party, she said, quiet enough that people leaned in to hear it. 3 years earlier, when Mark's father had a stroke and the restaurant's books fell into chaos, it was Claire who sat at the kitchen table after dinner, untangling invoices nobody else wanted to touch. Nobody asked her to. She simply noticed the numbers didn't add up and kept noticing, week after week, until noticing became a job nobody paid her for. She bought a plain composition notebook from the drugstore and started keeping her own ledger, not the official one, but a private record of what she found. Late deposits. Cash that vanished between Friday night and Monday morning. She told herself she was protecting the family. She told herself this was love expressed in spreadsheets. Nobody thanked her. Linda referred to it, when she referred to it at all, as Claire helping out a little. Mark never asked how the books stayed balanced. He just noticed, vaguely gratefully, that they did. She'd brought the notebook tonight. She didn't fully know why, except that some instinct told her a woman shouldn't walk into her own ending without her own evidence. Across the room, near the gift table, sat Andrew. Mark's cousin, the one with the accounting degree, the one the family trotted out at tax season and ignored the rest of the year. Claire walked to him and set the notebook in front of him, open to a page she'd marked with a torn receipt. Before I go, she said, you should look at this. Andrew read. His eyebrows did something complicated. He flipped a page, then another, the way people read when they're recalculating everything they thought they understood. Where did you get these numbers? I've had 3 years of Friday nights, Claire said. I had to do something with them. Linda rose from her chair. Claire, whatever this is, it isn't the time. It's the only time, Claire said, and her voice didn't rise, which made it land harder. You scheduled this for tonight. You don't get to choose what else happens in the room. Andrew was still, reading. He stopped at a page near the end, went still in the particular way of a man who has just understood something about his own brother. He looked up, not at Claire but at Patrick, Mark's older brother, who had been standing near the bar with the studied casualness of someone trying not to be looked at. Nobody said the word stealing. Nobody needed to. The silence did that work, the way silence does when accusations don't have to be spoken to be understood. Mark looked between his brother and his wife, and something in his face slid, just slightly, off the track he'd been so sure of all evening. Claire didn't stay to watch the unraveling. She'd spent enough years cleaning up messes that weren't hers to clean. She picked up her suitcase, the one packed for her, by someone who'd assumed she'd need permission to leave, and walked out past the banner, past the cupcakes nobody would eat now, past Mark, who didn't try to stop her, because he no longer knew what stopping her would mean. That night, in a motel room outside town, fluorescent light humming over a bedspread that smelled faintly of bleach, Claire opened the notebook one last time. She found the final column, the one where she'd always written her own name beside the unpaid hours, a private ledger entry nobody else would ever have read. She drew a single line through it, then she turned to a clean page, uncreased, unmarked by anyone's name but her own, and sat there a long moment before picking up the pen. Outside, somewhere behind her, a banner still hung crooked in an empty hall. She didn't think about it again.